So welcome everybody to the second hour of Mind Shifters Radio. And today is Monday, April the 25th, 2022. And our call-in number is 563-999-3581. And press 1, and that puts you into queue to talk to us. We'd love to hear your comments and questions because that makes this your show. While I'm waiting on Michael to dial in, I'll let you know that if you have an Android, you can go to your Google Play Store and get the most recent update to the Heartland Aramaic Forgiveness. It has now been approved and launched in Google. We still don't have the Apple iOS completed yet, but hopefully that'll be just in another day or two. So get the update, the latest update, if you've got it on your phone. If you don't, go out and get it, download it. It's free, and there are a lot of things that you can do on that app now. It's got the 2 different forgiveness wake-up sheets. It's got the regular 7-step. It's got the abbreviated version. It has the Drag On Cling On game and the commitments. It has a link to our events page and a more section, which just has news and a lot of updates and a lot of different links. And then on every page, no matter where you are in the app, you can submit a question. And so what happens there is you can just click, submit the question, then continue doing the worksheet or whatever you're on. It will send me an email, and I will read the question on the radio show. Michael will address it. Then I will send back an email telling you what day and time we answered your question. So that's an awesome feature, and several people have taken advantage of that. So go out and check that out. We have, the month has just absolutely flown by. A couple more weeks, we'll be doing another Mind Shifters and Still Point Breathing. And then we'll also, starting in May, the 2nd and the 4th Thursday, I think that's correct, is it, Michael? That we'll be doing the book club.
It is.
All right.
Correct.
So welcome to the show.
Thank you, dear heart. And welcome, everybody. We are delighted that you're here with us to take the understanding of forgiveness to the next level. There are so many levels to be engaged in really, truly understanding who we are as human beings and functioning as who we are, free of the insanities of the past. So we are here to awaken and support the awakening to the truth of who we are, of every mind, heart, and being on planet Earth. And the major key is a really powerful piece of information, simple, but very powerful piece of information, the Course in Miracles, where it says, you need not seek for love. You need only seek, find, and I add release or forgive the barriers you built within yourself against it. So the truth is, love is the stuff you're made of. And when you function out of love, when you function as love, then everything else changes. And the culture gives you, a close second. And what's a close second look like? Well, let's imagine we have a brand new Ferrari sitting down in the lower parking lot. It's worth about $175,000, and it's a beautiful yellow, bright yellow color. And beside it, there's another automobile, kind of shaped called a bug. It's yellow, bright yellow, and looks kind of cool. Much smaller than the Ferrari, but let's imagine that I tell you that the one shaped like a bug is a Ferrari. Now, the 2 cars are sitting there, and you've got your choice. Take whichever one you like. But if I tell that yellow one that kind of has a hump on it, shorter, is the Ferrari, and you get to take it and sell it, and you don't know anything about cars, and you just pick the one I tell you to take, you lose. You don't get to drive away with the Ferrari because the definition of the words wasn't accurate.
We live in a culture that says we're supposed to love one another. In fact, we're told that the first law put forward by the man named Yeshua was you're supposed to love the Creator, love yourself, love your neighbor. And that's a directive that was simply never given. Now, if I say that love is a behavior that I do, which is what most of the world holds, then my focus is on the behavior and what happens in the external world. And I miss the mark. You know, the person who read the latest book by some great psychologist or went to the scriptures and didn't understand the words there, heard, spare the rod, spoil the child. The way you love your child is to beat him into submission. And so this person, coming from the definitions in their minds, focused outward on behavior, which they call loving toward their child, beats their child and says, there you go. Doesn't that prove I love you? In fact, it hurts me more than it hurts you to do this. But I'm only doing it because I love you. It's like just a large crock of hooey. Just like the person who drives the Volkswagen away and gets to the place where they're supposed to sell it and get their $175,000. And the dealer says, well, this is worth about $20,000. What are you talking about? You want $175,000 for it? Well, this is a Ferrari, isn't it? Well, no. This is love, isn't it? No. When you recognize that the language of if I'm loving with them or if I love them, when you recognize that language is as in error as telling somebody that the Volkswagen-looking car is the Ferrari. Nobody has ever loved you. Nobody's ever going to love you. You've never loved anyone, and you're never going to love anyone. Oh, what do you mean, Michael? That's what I was told to do. Well, that may be what you were told to do, but it's a lie. Well, Yeshua even said, no, he didn't. If you go to the first commandment, as it was said, and they said to Yeshua, you know, what's most important in the law? He didn't say love your neighbor. He didn't say love God. He said have Rakhma for the Creator and for your neighbor. And in having Rakhma, you have a condition in your mind that is a great way for your human life to come into your human form. And when you recognize that the idea is to function as love, not to be loving, but to function as love, then the focus is internal. It's on, oh, what's going on in here? And now if I have errant definitions of love, I can go correct them. And I can instruct my mind to support me in being and functioning as love. And, of course, a major piece in achieving that is going to be to remove everything that's ever been put into you, to face, to feel, to deal with, and to heal everything that's ever put into you that is unlike love. So love describes a state of being. Now, you can get really, funky with the words and mix them up a whole lot and say, well, it's all the same thing. It's not the same thing. It's no more the same thing than if I tell you the yellow car down there, the one that looks like a hump, that's the one you want to get your $150,000. If you follow those instructions, you're not going to get it. Love is a noun. It's a state of being. It's not something we do to each other. When I function out of that state of being, then I will do things that will keep me on track with love and will support me functioning as love. But if I think it's something I can do, then I fall prey to every insane definition of love that goes. So we're here to inform and establish the awareness for every mind, heart, and being on the planet of who we are. And I don't care who you are. It doesn't matter who you are. If you're Hitler, I know the truth about you. Behind all of that insanity is a being called love. Everything else that appears as other than love is suffering, comes from a state of pain. The people who are in a state of pain and doing what the world calls evil things deserve to suffer for their atrocities? No, not at all. Well, Michael, What do you mean? That would mean you'd have to let everybody in the world out of prison. No, it wouldn't. No, actually. One of my early mentors was a Superior Court judge named Asa D. He was probably about the closest thing to a saint I've ever seen. And here's a man who, over his tenure on the bench, probably put tens of thousands of people in prison for long, long times. And yet he never punished one of them. His objective never had anything whatsoever to do with punishment. He cared for his community. And he wanted the people in his community to be safe. And I've sat there and listened to him as he said to people, in essence, I love you like a brother. But you know what? You're not safe in this community. You're a danger. And the people of the community took up a collection and they built a building with bars on it. And they asked me to determine who in the community was safe to be at liberty in the community and who wasn't. And since you're not safe in the community, I'm going to put you in that building behind bars. And you know what? With the offenses, with the damage you've done in the community, you're going to be there for life now. Does that mean I'm going to punish you for life? No. Actually, at Judge Kelly's request, we created a course called Laws of Living that cut recidivism in the prisons by over 90%. And the course had nothing to do with punishment. Now, sadly, we have this old penal system, penal coming from the root penance. Oh, if you do something that causes you to suffer, then you'll make up for your errors. What a crock of hooey. Who benefits from that? Only those that are collecting free wealth. Because there's one place where slavery is still allowed in the United States, one circumstance. Slavery was not outlawed, pardon me. You know what it is? If you're in prison, you can be enslaved. And so the people who are profiting, you'll notice that not long ago they outlawed private prisons because it was too much skullduggery, too much profiteering, and too much. They caught judges sentencing kids who deserve no sentence at all to these private institutions, and the private institutions were kicking back to the judges. Who benefits from that? Yes, if people are a danger to the community, they need to be isolated from the community, and they need care, support, and healing, whatever the level of what we would call depravity is. And so, is anybody irredeemable? No. Doesn't matter how far you've gone, how deep you went, what you did. If you're willing to do the work of cleaning up what never belonged within your mind, then you will be at liberty. Externally, if you've gotten into legal troubles, and internally, if it hasn't gone to that. Most people, the liberty that they need is liberty from the power person dynamics of their lives, of the abuses and the behaviors that were done toward them that they've integrated and now do through the function of the automatic decision system in the mind, repeating what's gone on in the generations. When you realize that power person dynamic, three things have to happen for a power person dynamic to be installed in a person's mind. One, the person who's got the power is not functioning as love, is not functioning as a human being. Two, they have more power over the object of the circumstance than the individual themselves has. Usually it's a parent and child, but not always. Three, the object of it, the child in this case, perceives it as survival. When that happens, that child opens its energy field just like a sponge and sucks in every energy from the environment. And in the future, the automatic decision system will control their behaviors according to the level of stress they're under and the power person dynamic stored within them. And this is what runs the world. For a person who has not been aware of or learned how to undo that power person dynamic in them, and that's basically the focus of our workshop, Codependence to Interdependence, they'll be controlled by one of three behaviors related to the power person. And the level of stress that they're under will determine which of the three behaviors they do. Just observe your own life. When there's no stress, notice how you do what you did to get along with your power person. Maybe it's Mr. or Ms. Nice Guy. And everybody says, oh, look, Mr. or Ms. Nice Guy. Look how nice they are. Until they see that person under stress. When stress starts to build, that person, instead of doing what they did to get along with their power person, will now do what they did to resist and survive with their power person. So maybe that behavior was Mr. Snarky. So somebody's married to a person for 5 years and they've never seen them under real stress. They've never seen their second-level power person dynamic in operation, doing what they did to resist and survive. All of a sudden, this Mr. or Ms. Nice Guy, under that level of stress, shifts into doing what they did to resist and survive with their power person. And if it was Mr. Snarky, all of a sudden, somebody says, wait, well, what happened? You're not the person I married. You were never Mr. or Mrs. Snarky. How did that happen? And then, the shock of all shockers, the pièce de résistance, is when that person becomes ultra-stressed. They will do what their power person did to them that they hated the most. And if that was punch somebody in the face, we saw a recent example of that in the Oscars. They remember the young man. Actually, if you go and read Will Smith's biography, I think the article was in Vanity Fair about it. He wrote about how at 9 years of age, he watched his father hit his mother in the head, knock her out, and how grieved he was that he considered himself a coward and did not do something about that. And then we watched stress is created by goals. Just go back and watch the video and notice how when the joke is told that became so objectionable, Will Smith laughed. His goal, I'd offer, low stress. He's being Mr. Nice Guy. His goal is to have a good time. And then his wife catches his eye. And obviously she's not pleased, and another goal has resonated in him. And I offer it's the same goal was involved with his power person when he was 9 years of age that he wrote about. Before the event ever happened, he wrote about how this occurred. And the instant that that goal was activated in his mind by that look from his wife, my offering is he was under an ultra-stress condition and he got up and did exactly what he observed his power person doing that he hated the most. And that's the dynamic that runs the world when we don't live as human beings, when we don't live out of a state of choice that comes from the state of being love. And we think we're supposed to be loving, and that'll be whatever the definition. In his case, you'll notice that when he got up to receive his own award, he said it's amazing what people do for love, as though that was love. Reminds me of a statement made by Liam Neeson. And this is just kind of from memory. It's not exact, but it's close enough to get the point that he had the insight of the world says love hurts, and nothing could be further from the truth. Love is the only thing that heals. Love is the only thing that makes people feel wonderful again once they've been hurt. It is going back to, and it's not something outside of us that's going to do that. Most of the world's got their hand out and says, you got to come out here for it. I'm the solution. No, the solution is already within you. You might need some support for getting there. It's a big job to reinvent the wheel. If you come from generations and generations and generations of insanity, big job to, quote unquote, devise tools with which to resolve that situation. In fact, the number one, what I call the pseudo-solutions of the non-being mind, the number one is, if I could just figure this out. I mean, you can't figure it out. But whatever's going on, you can apply forgiveness to it. If you're not using the forgiveness tool, we invite you to go to our website. And right there on the site, you can do the forgiveness worksheet process step by step. Here's how it's done. You can download videos and audios that will tell you about it, explain it. It's all there for free. You can download the worksheet. You can do the worksheet actually live on the website. Nice work, Jeannie, for getting that set up. And or you can download any one of a number of different worksheets that we've developed over the years, print them on your own printer, use them at home. Or you can go to your app store, and Jeannie's just completed the latest edition of the app. You can go to your app store and type in the words Heartland, Heartland, one word, Aramaic forgiveness. You'll be looking at the world's only forgiveness app. It's free, and it's purposely set up with as few permissions as possible so that you can trust and you can know that it is private and only for your use. So the only thing it's going to ask you to do is to have the app able to use your internet connection so it can operate. No other permissions are required. We purposely designed it that way. If, when you complete a worksheet, you decide you want to print it, it's going to ask for permission to write to your drive, because if you're going to print it, you got to save it somewhere. Other than that, it doesn't ask, can we use your dialer? Can we operate your text system? Can we change your settings? Can we use your camera? Can we use your microphone? None of that. None of those silly things. So download the app, start doing the worksheet process right there on your phone. There are two different versions of the worksheet on the app, as well as the kids game, the Dragon Klingon game. And there's a feature, a relatively new feature, I think, two versions ago, Jeannie, I think you added that feature where people can, on any page, you can simply type in a question. We'll get the question. We'll answer it on the show. You can access the commitment. You can access the website. You can access, all kinds of things. Jeannie's just been really building and working. And, I don't know how many thousands of hours she spent. And one of the big challenges is when she's working on it, she has to be up at 5 in the morning because the technicians that are doing the actual mechanical translating of the computer jargon are in India that are doing the work of setting it up. So in order to communicate, you should be up about 5 in the morning, and that's when they're just closing their offices, and sometimes they work past their closing time so that we can get that put together. Just an awesome piece of work, sweetie. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you're out there in listener land, the purpose of this show is to create the space for questions, to explain, to put forward the teachings in as concise a way as possible. Having spent 40 years specifically focused on the first century Aramaic forgiveness process and another 10 years before that developing this work, most people aren't going to spend half a century of their lives developing the tools to understand and to do the work that allows us to understand just how this process progresses. So we appreciate the fact that you're here, and if we can be of any support, our call-in number, if you're on one of those stations where we can't see you, we've got syndication, and so you can call in a direct number to the show, and when you call this number, you'll be listening to the show. If you're coming in through one of those other stations, we can't tell that you're there. Call-in number is 563-999-3581. When you call that number, you're live on the show, and then if you push 1, that raises a hand in the control panel. Jeannie will know you want to talk to us, and we'll have a conversation. So how can we support you? What's on your mind?
We have a hand up.
Let's go for it. Yay.
All right. So it's Susan, area code 610. You're on the air.
Hey, first of all, this is segueing right into what you were just talking about, Jeannie's app. You gave me the strong suggestion, Michael, of doing 5 worksheets a day. So,
yes,
I find myself, it's only been 3 days, 2 days,
right.
And I've done 5 2 days ago and 5 yesterday, and I've done 3 today so far. But I'm using Jeannie's app. I'm mixing it up a bit, and I'm using her app, and it is really amazing. Just really good. It makes it awesome.
Yeah, it's such a blessing.
Yeah.
It's such a blessing to have that available. And, nobody will ever, when we tell people we have an app, people who have some knowledge of the computer world, such like, you actually have an app? Most people have no idea what it takes to put something like that together. And I've watched Jeannie get up so many mornings and then spend hours. It's pretty sweet. It's there.
It's got these features that are. It's just, I don't know how you did it, Jeannie. I'm pretty good on the computer, but man, this is impressive.
Thank you.
You know, there was a corporation that had become involved in the work at one point before we did the app, and they said, "Oh, we're going to support you. We're going to develop an app for this." And then they started looking at it, it's like too much money, and they plopped. They quit. They dropped out. But geez, I don't know.
I can understand it.
A lot of hours.
Teeny feedback, although it's not important at all, is if you write a lot in the slot where you can add an explanation. When you go to the part where you're reading over what you said, because it's sort of, you get a summary and then you come to your enlightened goal and stuff, there's an overlap of text because it'll bleed into the next thing. It's not a big deal because when I printed it out, it all printed out without that overlap, and I wouldn't even do anything about it except maybe say keep it brief or something, you know.
Yeah, and that's actually I have had a couple of people mention that before, and you know, it does come down to a lot of people. Actually, I just worked with a lady over the weekend. They'll end up doing like an hour to do a worksheet and go into so much detail and everything, you know, and it's, in a way, that is sort of a self-sabotage to keep you so distracted with all the details that you don't get down to the point. But yes, I'll keep that in mind and see if the next time that I update, if I can make the spaces bigger.
I think also in some cases... Go ahead.
I would just say don't even bother. It's just that it happens. But if you said something
and I'm not
at the
sure
very
that
beginning, like, sorry, we're talking over each other. Go ahead, Michael.
That's okay. I was just going to say, I think in some cases it's the display capability of the device you're on as well, because it said it will print out. It's all there, but there's a limit on, in some cases, for the device being used in its display capabilities.
So does this?
But yeah, that's a thought to put in the keep it brief idea.
Is this usable on a computer? I haven't even tried it. Is it? If I had the app on my computer.
That is a different setup. The way that, you know, even like the way they set it up for Google is, we've got a really loud feedback. The way we set it up for Google is totally different from even the iPhone. But on the website, I'm scrolling down just to make sure, so I tell you the truth. Okay, you can click. It will redirect you to the Healing the Whole Woman. But I do have it is set up to do it on the website. And the only reason that I did it, stutter a little bit. The only reason that I have it redirecting to my website is because our website is so huge. And to give somebody, even though I trust the guys in India and everything, to have someone else go out there and make a change on their website brings up fear. Because if they screwed something up, how would we get it straight, you know? So my website's a lot smaller. And so if you go to the Why Again and then click on the worksheets, it says, you know, the forgiveness app, and then underneath it, it says, and just like the app, you can do it online, and click here to be redirected. And it will take you to the Healing the Whole Woman site, and you can do them online there.
Oh, that's really interesting. Okay, good. Well, I wouldn't tend to do it. If I'm home and have paper available, I do it on paper. And if I'm out sitting somewhere, I'll do one in the waiting room or something, which is rare actually. I tried to do it while I was walking, and that's insane. It's not the dog pulling my hands, pulling the phone out of my hands, and picking up BMs while I'm going along. It's not a good idea to do it when you're taking a dog for a walk.
I'll go with that.
So I've been doing when I'm walking. I know the worksheet so well, and I know you don't approve of this, Michael, but too bad, because you're not going to get 5 out of me without my being able to do this. I go on long walks, and I do them in my head, and then I summarize them when I get home. I sort of write it out when I get home, and it has been amazing already to get back to work that way. It's as if now when something comes up, I feel like Dietrich Walzak. Oh, there's a feeling. Okay, what's going on? It's all my garbage. Let's have a look. And then we go to work. It's a way of, right out of the starting gate, you smell the rat, and you know it's your rat. So, and it's been all over the place. You said not to use, don't try to figure it out, so I haven't. Worksheets on every possible issue, and they all point to the main issue. No matter what it is, it ends up being the same thing, pretty much, the same basic early difficulty and challenge.
I think there's a book about that.
Yeah, why is this happening?
Called Why Am I Doing This to Myself Again? Well, I'm going to elicit a testimonial from you then, because you just told me that you're doing the worksheet both ways. Now, for people who tell me, I just do them in my head now, I know them so well, I sing a song to them. And the song is, slip sliding away. You know, the nearer your destination, the more you slip sliding away. Now, what I'll ask you is when you find yourself, you're out and you're walking, you're doing it in your head, how much more detail and information do you catch when you start doing it in writing?
Oh, you do. It's true.
I mean, there's so much the mind just slips away from. It comes up. But if you're not putting it, it can come up so quickly and disappear so quickly that it's not even noticed. Whereas if you're writing, there it is. It's in writing and you've got it. And so it's so much more profound to put it down on paper, for sure, or in the computer.
Okay, well, I should tell you the intermediary step that I'm taking then, because I didn't even think of it. But what I'm doing is I take out my notes in my iPhone, that little yellow thing. It says notes, and you can actually dictate. I talk it into my phone.
Perfect.
So it's not exactly not being written down, but it's being talked down and then written down when I get home. So I know it's not ideal, but...
No, actually, that's perfectly ideal. I'd say that takes it all to the next level, and I never really thought of it that way before. But, there are different parts of the brain that are connected and are close in terms of their function. Like there's a thing called Broca's area where language is located, and that's right close to emotions. And I would think that if you are dictating it, and to do that, you're activating Broca's area where speech is, and that ties in with emotion. That's going to access information in a different way than just thinking it and writing it down. So you're getting another sense involved, and I would suspect that you come into still another level of detail by doing that. Now, the other side of that coin is that you want to be aware that it doesn't become so deep and so complicated, the thing that you just get to the point where, I'm not going to do that anymore. So a 3-minute worksheet is a good exercise, too. Literally, give yourself 3 minutes to do a worksheet. You can move a lot of energy. The core of the process, of course, and nobody has to believe it, but the core of the process is when you cancel a goal, perception collapses, and that's what gives you access to new information. And so you can do that.
Right. Yeah.
Yes. And you can get into a detailed, longer form and cover every little thought. And you can also click through very quickly a worksheet. Some people, I couldn't do 3 a day because it takes me an hour and a half. Well, stop doing an hour and a half. Spend 3 minutes. Maybe do one of your hour and a half worksheets, one of your big detailed ones if that's what you need to, and do the other 4 in 3 minutes each, 3 minutes or less. And it's powerful, just that 3-minute worksheet.
That's true. Usually, I say, what am I feeling? Okay, what do I want? In other words, what's my goal for this person or situation? It's always sitting right there in front of my face. I want them to do this or that or the other, giving up the goal. Yeah, it does. It's good. It's good.
Well, I'm delighted you're on it. It'll be fun to track with you through the 40 days.
It'll be fun to see if I do it, too.
Yeah. Knowing you, I think you will. 40 days in the desert is very powerful. When you realize that the scriptural definition of the desert is the unconscious.
And the vitality level, I thought I would probably go through, down the tubes, but it's been the opposite. I have a lot of energy. So I don't know what that means. I guess it's a good thing, but everything's going well.
Well, when you remember in the Course in Miracles, it talks about nobody can be tired. Tired is impossible. Energy can't get tired. But the burden of carrying the hostility and fear wears us out. And so when you start to let go of that, yes, it liberates a lot of energy. I mean, carrying around that load.
One byproduct right away was a phone call I had with a friend, and it didn't end all that well. It wasn't bad. In fact, I thought she was a little kind of upset, and I said some reassuring things, and then we didn't talk for a while, and I thought, I got to call her, and we really did a lot of processing. But that wouldn't have happened without my doing a worksheet on her and a sort of a sense of, not irritation even. It's like something isn't right here. And so we've got a very good connection again, which is nice. But that's was a
sweet.
Direct
awesome.
byproduct of a worksheet. Yeah. Also,
Yay.
Michael, this was leading into some other questions that have to do with nutrition again. Is it okay if I ask you those? Because they're not about
Go
the
for it.
worksheet.
If I've got answers, I'll do my best.
Well, I watched the video, the short one, about the coconut oil, and I sent it to my friend whose mother has Alzheimer's. And I got some coconut oil, but I also have coconut milk. I get it canned, and you have to warm it up to the point where you can mix it up, because some of it looks like pure oil, and then it's milky looking.
Solid.
Is that the same?
Yeah, that would be
stuff?
good. I don't know about the processing as such, but yeah, the oil in canned coconut milk. You can also get coconut water, but I don't think it's got the high oil content or fat content that the brain needs.
No, I don't think so.
But yeah, it's the same thing. I'm not sure
and
about
also,
how they process it.
I got a book. I got a book, and I wonder if you've heard of this guy. I don't have it right with me. Sorry, I wasn't planning ahead, but it is called Cleanse to Heal by Anthony Williams. He calls himself a medical medium. And he says that diabetes is the result of an injury to the pancreas. Now, that doesn't make any sense to me. Why are all these diabetic people going around having a physical injury, like being hit with a hockey stick in your gut and you hurt your pancreas? I think I got that right. Anyway, I just wondered if you'd ever heard about that.
I'm not familiar with him.
I think when we have the grief, that impacts the pancreas, and that's a hit to the system. I mean, it may not be what most people would consider physical.
Okay.
But here's what I know. also on an energetic level. When we put a load on an organ or a part of the structure, that part of the structure tends to become unconscious. And when there are accidents, that's where it will tend to happen.
Okay, that makes sense. So when you're talking about pre-diabetes, they have two types of diabetes, and you said a third type, which is the type that you're addressing with the coconut oil.
They're theorizing a third type, yes.
Yeah, I understand. Type 1 and type 2, are they different? Well, I mean, what's the difference?
Yes. Type 1, the insulin just isn't there. The body's not producing it.
Oh, okay.
And that usually comes from birth. That's usually, long term. Type 2 is when the body can't utilize the insulin that's there, insulin resistance and such. Type 3, according to the theory, and this is something I'm not even sure how long it's been around. I'm not even sure who originated it, but it's making sense and it seems to be making a difference, is that there is no insulin in the brain. And in order for a cell to use the sugar that it takes as fuel for the cell, there has to be insulin present to make it usable. And without insulin, then the brain starts to dysfunction because there's no insulin there. And that the coconut oil or MCT powder oil produces a fuel that the cell can use directly without any insulin. So is restoring function very profoundly. And the thesis is because of this type 3 diabetes that now the brain cell, which basically had no fuel at all, so dysfunctional. And they call it, according to some sources, that's a proper definition of Alzheimer's. Now, I'm not cognizant enough with it in the theory of it or anything else to say that's accurate or not, but some of the people who are pretty well into that field are saying this is what Alzheimer's actually is, and we can get fuel into the brain cell and stop fooling around with the insulin, then the brain starts to function again. And the way to do that is through coconut oil and good organic coconut oil, and or the MCT oil. Oh,
okay. So let me read you this. It's very short. Is that okay? And then I have a question.
Go for it, please. Yes.
This is what the man says. Diabetes type 1, type 1.5 called LADA, and type 2 prediabetes and blood sugar imbalance. True cause, he says. Type 1 and type 1.5 diabetes, the second of which is also known as latent autoimmune diabetes in adults, or LADA, is caused by injury to the pancreas, usually from a pathogen such as a virus or bacterium, sometimes even a physical blow. The severity of the pathogen and the condition of the pancreas determine the severity of the individual case of diabetes. Sometimes the pathogenic injury is slow or happens later in life, which is what leads to type 1.5 LADA. At the same time as either types 1 or 1.5 diabetes, you can have a sluggish, stagnant liver and a diet too high in fat, creating insulin resistance issues. Type 2 diabetes comes from a sluggish, stagnant liver filled with various toxins, including viral toxins from a virus such as the one of the over 60 varieties of Epstein-Barr. At the same time, the liver has lost its glycogen reserves so that the pancreas has to work harder, overextending itself due to the constant insulin resistance issues that come up from a long-term high-fat, high-protein diet. Well, personally, I've never had a high-fat, high-protein diet, and I haven't had an injury. But you were saying it's grief, and Jeannie was reinforcing that. But my question doesn't have directly to do with that. His solution to just about everything is to start off working up to 32 ounces daily of fresh celery juice. Have you ever had celery juice, Michael?
Yes, I love celery juice. It's powerful. It's very healing. It's a powerful juice. As a matter of fact, thinking about growing celery so I could have a good fresh supply of organic celery juice. That's been in my thought to talk with Jeannie about. We've just been working in the garden, but we haven't gotten to celery at this point.
There's actually a sectioned off for that.
Yeah.
Whoa. Well,
and that I would offer support on a physiological level, but here would be my take on his pathogen and even injury, and that is that when you load up a part of the structure with an energy that doesn't belong, and my take would be, as Jeannie said, grief loads down the pancreas, then the pancreas in a lowered state of vitality becomes susceptible to pathogens. It becomes a home. It produces toxic byproducts, and if you feed them, they will come. You've heard me use the example before of I've got a 1 acre lot out here, and I rope off 1 square corner or 1 square foot on one corner and 1 square foot all the way over on the opposite corner, diagonal. And I count how many pathogens are, how many bugs, creepy, crawly things, bacteria, viruses, bugs, and buzzards around each square foot. And, it's out in an open field, and it's probably pretty much going to be the same until I put a dead rabbit on one of those square feet of land at 98.6 degrees. Now, if we come back in 4 days after that dead rabbit being there for 4 days, there's going to be an elevated count of pathogens on one of those square feet. And 100% of the time, it's going to be the same one, and that's where the dead rabbit is. If the tissue is loaded with an energy that doesn't belong in it, it creates an ideal environment for the growth of pathogens. So my take would be the pathogen rarely is cause. It's that the pathogen is given a food supply and overwhelms the organ because the organ's in a low energy state. In the same way, that organ or that part of the structure being unconscious will tend to, when it comes to the accident, will tend to place itself in the way of an accident more easily than any other part of the body that isn't holding awareness. And so I'd agree on the cause level, except that my take would be that he's putting a part of the effect in line as cause. So he's saying the pathogen. Well, I'm saying, no, it's the load on the organ that creates the pathogen. It's the accident. No, it's the load on the organ that makes the organ unconscious that puts it in the way of being physically injured because of its unconscious activity. And so, all of the above, and yes, I think celery juice would be a powerful healer in that regard.
So I can't imagine doing this every day. I made my celery juice. He has a recipe. It's spinach or romaine lettuce, parsley, celery, I forget what else. Anyway, you don't add water delicious. Because it's so much water. What?
Sounds delicious.
Sorry, I missed. It's horrible. I didn't like it. I added some stevia and it didn't help a bit. So I'm thinking, is there any other way? What about just eating celery sticks? Would that do it?
Well, you probably couldn't eat enough celery sticks to get that kind of fluid flow through your structure. And here's my offering, is that when you take an energy and that's going to produce healing, that healing produced is going to move energy that is not going to be pleasant. And in many cases, when somebody moves through I don't like this, I don't like this, I don't like this, all of a sudden, once they've moved, whatever it is that is resonated by that particular substance, they come to enjoy it. Like when Jeannie and I first met, Jeannie would not touch beets. She could not think about beets. And we were doing an intensive, and part of the intensive there was juicing and such, and part of the intensive was just a spot of beets X number of times a day. And now I think that's one of Jeannie's acceptable foods, right, sweetie?
Pickled beets, yes.
Yeah. I can imagine that would make them acceptable. I don't like beets either. Yeah. What's so good about
pickled beets are okay?
Are you still there?
Yes, sure, we are.
Okay. What's the benefit of having beets?
There are lots of antioxidants in beets, and it's a blood cleanser. You know, you look at the color of it, red, fits with the blood, and the nutrients needed to support blood cleansing is in beets. Celery supports things like bones. You know, if you look at it, the long, stringy, you know, bone-like structure. It tends to, there's actually a friend I have who wrote a book on, let's see, what was the name of it? Jeannie, you probably remember, had to do with look-alike.
Yeah.
What was it?
I'll think of it here in a second.
Yeah, it's right on the tip of my tongue. But anyway, that when you look at, for instance, cut open an avocado, it looks like ovaries. And avocados have nutrition that supports ovaries. Celery, long, stringy, like bones, supports bones. So he goes through a whole series.
My mother-in-law, one thing she always did before she put out celery sticks was snap the end and pull the bony part away so that people didn't have to chew those bony things. Those bony, what?
I got it.
And so is that bad? You're missing something.
I wouldn't say it's bad. I think that, you know, the more whole we can eat something, the more whole the nutrition is going to be that comes from it. You know, people, because of distaste, because, you know, because of taste, people go, oh, I don't like to taste it, so I'm going to take that part out. But that's part of the whole. You can't get holy without doing wholeness.
Well, okay. Oh, cucumber.
So how about a mind shifter?
I don't
Cucumber's
want
another wonderful cleanser.
I have too many already.
Cucumber also is natural insulin, so it tends to support pancreas healing. Yep.
Okay. Well, tell me what the mind shifter is, and then I'll tell you I won't do it.
Oh, I'm not going to give it to you. You don't want it. We'll forget about that.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
All right.
The more I partake of the things I find distasteful, and you know what's coming, right? The more I partake of the things I find distasteful, the better I like it. Are you breathing?
No, I'm writing. And
hello, is there anybody out there with breath? Oh, you can't write and breathe at the same time, right? That's impossible. Got nothing to do with what's being resonated by the mind shifter, no.
Well, sometimes you give me a mind shifter that I agree with. It doesn't function as a mind shifter. It's sort of like, oh, okay. In fact, I'm trying to find where it was. I don't know if I have the right book here.
And those ones are not particularly on target as a mind shifter. If it just fits right in and it's like just strengthen something that's already there, that would be more of an affirmation. You know, people talk about affirmations.
Okay.
But a mind shifter is when I have what other people would call an affirmation, but it resonates something in me that I need to work through. And the idea of the mind shifter is to give you the space to work through it. Otherwise, it's more of an affirmation.
Well, I'm not sure which this one is. I'm just looking at it. I guess I have to come upon a distasteful thing, and then I can say it to myself. Huh?
Yeah. Do you breathe naturally when you look at it and read it? Then it's a mind shifter. Then it's a mind shifter.
The more I partake of the things I find distasteful, the better I like it. Well, all I can think of is the celery juice. And I'm certainly arguing against it right now. Yuck. I just have to. It says work your way up to 32 ounces. I drank 16 ounces, and I thought that was like torture.
Ah, geez, when you're making that 16-ounce one, I wish you'd make one for me and send it over.
Right. Perhaps I can find a couple recipes in the recipe book that we have where it's not just the celery juice, but you add, like maybe an apple or carrot or something else with it.
Yeah, Ari was a
I
master
wondered
at
if I
making
could
juices
add an avocado.
palatable.
What?
Sure.
Michael?
Yeah, it's one of the healthiest
Avocado?
forms of fat there is, avocado.
We eat them every day in our salads and stuff, and sometimes they get a little past where they ought to be. They get brown, but I still put them in the smoothies.
Right.
They don't kill you.
When you get them, put them in a glass of water.
Uh-huh.
Store them in a glass of water. They don't turn brown.
In
At
the
least that's the
refrigerator.
Is that
theory.
right?
In the refrigerator, yeah.
In the refrigerator,
In water,
but they'll
submerged.
still ripen?
Submerged in water.
And they'll still ripen?
Mm-hmm.
Even in the refrigerator? Because I get them from Costco, and they're like rocks. And so I leave them out for about a week.
Well, you
and
might
then
want to
they're
leave
ready.
them out till they start to soften a little bit. But when you're at the point where,
Okay.
if I leave them another day or two, they're going to be gone. Drop them in water.
Yeah. Oh, nice to know.
Yeah, I
You're an
also experimented for a while.
radio show.
Say again?
You're an all-purpose, full-service radio show.
Let's go for it. We're looking to be as holistic, holy as we can, for sure. You might want to, and
good.
I actually haven't been doing it for a while, but there was another piece that I was looking at where they talked about freezing avocados, and that works fairly well to maintain them. They get soft because the water molecules or the cells break open, but it's still pretty good avocado, or pretty good guacamole or what have you from it.
Oh, good.
Great brain
good,
food.
because they're not cheap, so you don't want to waste them. Yeah.
For sure.
Oh, and then another question. I hope you don't mind. I mean, this guy says,
That's what we're here for.
bananas, eat as many as you want. Eat a ton of bananas, only a certain kind of ripeness. But in other places about high glycemic levels, they say don't touch a banana. It's like having 5 Coca-Colas or something. Which is it?
Yeah, bananas, a lot of load for the pancreas to deal with.
Okay.
We just as we were doing some garden study, we're just planting gardens, and yesterday we just came across a video that where we learned that a way to grow kiwis is to cut a kiwi in half, sit it inside of a very ripe banana. Cut it in half and have a piece, and just plant that, and boom, you've got kiwi growing. I guess the banana is perfect food for a kiwi, and the seeds just go.
That's really great to know.
So we're working on kiwis.
And they'll grow in
now
our
they're
climate?
different. They're different varieties, but yes, there are. Yeah.
Wow.
I was reading. We're in 6B here, and I was reading about them this morning, and there are some that are a little hardier. That the vines are tougher and can handle the colder weather. But yeah, we can grow them here, and I understand pretty much throughout the United States that they can be grown.
Oh, good.
Some of the more tropical varieties are not as don't thrive as well in colder climates, but can be done in a banana.
Okay, well, I love bananas, but I'm not eating them after hearing this.
Yeah, you don't want to push a lot of bananas. They're high sugar for sure.
Okay.
And you don't want to do juice, fruit juices. You want to stay away from fruit juice.
Oh no. Totally. No, I know about that. Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks so much.
Well, any other thoughts, young lady?
I don't think so. Not at the moment. Thanks a lot, though. This is global.
Well, tell Tim that we said hello.
I will. Thanks.
And we are extending our love in his direction and your direction.
Thanks.
All right. Well, lots of love and appreciation. Everybody, thank you for joining us. And if this show has been meaningful for you, go to the archives, and I'm not even sure exactly how long it takes, but within a few minutes, you can download the show. And the iHeartRadio app allows you to forward and reverse, so you can go to exactly where you want to. It comes out as a 2-hour show the first hour of Dr. Tim's and then ours. So in some apps, you have to listen through the whole thing. iHeartRadio app works too. And some apps won't give you all of our archives. The iHeartRadio app goes right back to day one. Some of them limit to just 300, and we've got over 3,000. So if you want an app that takes you back through all of our archives, 3,000 plus shows, iHeartRadio, we don't have any association with them, but I just happened to, I was looking for something that would allow us to be more flexible, and that seems to work fairly well. So in the meantime, everybody, have the best year yet of your eternal life. It's an awesome gift to give the world. The world needs it. You can give it. Thanks for being here.